in, yeah, flex. I just wanna win. Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of the League Fantasy Football Podcast.
Who the hell that?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the League Fantasy Football Podcast. As you can see, we're here with Mac Daddy, as always, and our special guest, Aaron's back joining us.
Yes, happy to be back. I think that it is, as Aaron mentioned before the podcast, it's football season. It's football time.
Let's go.
Hall of Fame game happened. NFL Live is now entertaining to watch. It's not all about Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. So, and Hard Knocks dropped the first episode. Haven't seen it. Very excited to.
Dude, I'm ready to see that.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that this weekend. Yeah, football's back, so very excited. Aaron, thanks for being on again.
Yeah, dude.
You know, you're going to help us hopefully this year. Hopefully help me not have to eat 15 waffles. But moving on.
Got to correct that.
Yeah, I got to correct that shit real fast. So just to break it down real quick for you guys, this is going to be two parts, part one and part two. The first part, we're going to do a mock draft with all three of us live. Aaron's going to, quickly break down who he drafted, what spot, et cetera, what makes sense, what doesn't. And then part two, we'll do a very brief breakdown of the mock draft and our team. And then Aaron's going to go over his must-haves, sleepers, and busts. So, with that, let's give as much time to this mock draft as possible. Kyle, if you want to fire that up.
Let's do it.
That was nice.
So this is the mock draft. We're
Very
using
nice.
Fantasy Pros.
Yeah.
Same thing we did before we had technical difficulties.
Yeah, just to let you guys know real quick, we recorded like an hour and a half podcast.
God, it was so good.
We're redoing now. So, anyways,
we put in our league
The
settings.
lost states.
Yeah. And then we'll pick a draft position. Y'all still want to go with like 7, 8, somewhere around there?
Aaron, I was going to ask you, what do you think this time? Was that a good position?
Well, I was going to say maybe this time we can just randomize.
Yeah.
Just see what happens.
That sounds like a good idea.
I like it. Okay.
So we'll randomize. 4th? Okay.
Nice. Okay. Not complaining. Okay.
So we're starting it.
So let's do like we did last time. Kyle, me and you will select the players. Aaron, you kind of say, or, hey, I like it, or whatever.
I think if one of us feels strongly about a player, then just go ahead and say it and we'll select them.
I like it. Make it real.
Yeah.
Okay.
So getting things started, CMC went number 1, of course. Dalvin Cook went 2. Alvin Kamara went 3. So that's pretty status quo right there.
Is it? All running backs? Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty regular for this portion of the draft. And this is kind of a section where when you're picking in the top 4, top 5, maybe even top 6, it's really hard to pass up on a running back here just because you have access to a different type of player that you may not have for the rest of the draft. So it's not necessarily based on talent. It's based on each of these guys. When you talk about CMC, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, you can pencil them in for all the high-value touches in their offenses, you have heavy workload, big, share of the opportunity. Now, the question at this spot at 4, maybe even at 3, becomes there's holes you can poke in each of these players. So when you think about an Alvin Kamara, well, not only is there no Drew Brees here this year, we had questions about who's going to start at QB, but you also had the situation now with Michael Thomas, who knows might not be available till week 7. Now, in my opinion, the Michael Thomas injury kind of helps Alvin Kamara just because they're going to have to throw him the ball now. I don't care if it's Taysom Hill as QB, which, by the way, I do think now it probably will be Taysom. I think there's a chance they go really run heavy. You know Kamara isn't going to get 20 carries, though. Whereas CMC, Dalvin, they can get 20 plus carries plus 10 targets in a game. Now, a Derrick Henry, no pass game involvement. So at the same time, he's an absolute monster. You're kind of making a bet on him just continuing to be a beast. The question that I have is, this Tennessee defense continue to decline? It doesn't project to be better this season. We also have no Arthur Smith there. He was the offensive coordinator past couple seasons. There's a question if this offense, which has leaned on top level efficiency, are they going to be as efficient on third downs? Are they going to be as efficient in the red zone? Now, they added Julio Jones, so there's a chance that maybe Julio just makes up for all of that. But then you have to ask yourself, how many games is he going to play? So there's holes you can poke in the Derrick Henry situation. Me personally, I go Zeke Elliott anywhere at 3, 4, 5. Because he's a guy who's going to get 20 plus touches per week. You also know he's going to get a lot of opportunity at the goal line, a lot of opportunity in the red zone. This is an offense I fully expect to score a lot of points once again. Now, the thing with Zeke is a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth because he disappointed last year. So he was a player who absolutely went in those first 4, often top 3. Some people even took him at 2. And he finished essentially as like a RB11, RB12 kind of area. Yeah. So still borderline RB1 production, but that's not what you drafted. You drafted him to be an elite player at a position. He wasn't that. But the thing is, this whole offense fell apart, not only after Dak Prescott got injured, but after practically their entire offensive line got decimated. Even their backup quarterback was injured for a stretch. So when you actually look at his numbers, it's kind of impressive that he even had the production he did, despite that team being terrible.
I was going to say, they always achieve mediocre results, and he was still RB12. So coming into, not the shoulder or whatever, coming into a newer season, is Zeke going to put up, be a top 3, top 4 running back in fantasy? More than likely. The only question I have is Eckler, who,
I love that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I
like both
here,
of them.
It's like pick your poison, pick what you want. But it's interesting how Fantasy Pros has Henry, 20% ahead of Elliott, and then even Elliott is 21%. I mean, I know it's whatever projected, blah blah blah, but still, it's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting.
And that's why, again, just on the drafting on Fantasy Pros, you have to remember that everything is based on like a median projection. So what that means is, a lot of projection systems, you're going to project sort of like, okay, what's a floor? What's a ceiling? What's that median? Now, a median, and this is the reason why we should never really lean on projections, because that never happens, right? So, for example, X player is projected to score 237 fantasy points this year. Practically 100% chance he's not going to hit that number. He's going to go over it or he's going to be below it. So what we should be using those projections for is just to give us a sense of a range of outcomes. Now, the reason that I would take Zeke here is because that ceiling case, in my opinion, is far past what Derrick Henry's is. And here's why. Last year, Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards. He scored a fuckload of touchdowns. That's a ceiling. Like, he's never going to catch 50 balls in this offense. If it was going to happen, we would have seen it by now. Sure, maybe you could say, well, this could be the year. And maybe. What the better bet is, in my opinion, is, well, we've seen what Zeke Elliott's role is in this offense for the past few years. That role didn't go anywhere last year when they were still terrible. It's not going to go anywhere this year now that they're healthy. So the ceiling is, what if Zeke Elliott has a 15-plus touchdown year? What if Zeke Elliott approaches 20 touchdowns? You're talking about someone competing for RB1, RB2, RB3. So a lot of times Zeke falls. In my opinion, it's hard to take Austin Eckler ahead of him because there's still a question with Eckler just in terms of that really high equity red zone goal line opportunity. Throughout his career, he hasn't been given that role. Now he makes up for it, especially in PPR, because he's such a weapon in the pass game, and because he's fairly explosive as a runner. He can get chunk plays off limited touches. But for him to really hit, that top four, top five, if Zeke is off the board, honestly, I would even still take a shot on Saquon at this point. If those guys are both off the board, that's when I start looking at an Austin Eckler, or I start thinking about a receiver. But yeah, this range, personally, I would go Zeke. But this is where you kind of have to think about what kind of draft you want to do. So if you want to go zero RB, you could absolutely get your pick of the litter at wide receiver here. And in a PPR league, like that's not a bad strategy because
that
you
was
can
the
build
question,
your
right?
Absolutely. And you can build your team wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, and you can just start taking shots. And really all you need is one running back to hit to be a reliable player for you every week. If you know that you're going to be hunting on the waiver wire those first 6 weeks of the season, and whatever back ends up emerging, you're going to be on top of it.
Yeah, so with that information...
Go ahead, Kyle. We're going to draft Zeke.
Yeah, okay, so I was going to let you pick, so we'll just draft Zeke. We knew that.
Let's just draft and move on. What I was going to say is, let's do this. I like what you said. So everyone can see the board. You've got 2020 stats, 202 points, what that person scored, right? Then you've got what they're projected. And I like what you said, Aaron. This is a median, so that player's 100% going to go over or under. So let's do this. Let's look at a player, Aaron, and you look at the points, 2021 projected, say over, under for what that player is. So let's say, Kyle, you select who you're going to draft. Aaron, you say over or under on those points and why. And then we'll just do the draft like that.
Okay, so after we pick Zeke,
I like that a lot. That was good.
D. Adams went, then Aaron Jones, so two Packers, then your boy Kelsey at 107, Hill at 108, D. Hen at 109, so he slipped a little bit. That's good value, 109.
Yeah.
Good.
That's interesting.
Yeah, good value, really, 110 and 111 right here. Eckler, Barkley, Chubb. Then in the second round, Taylor, Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Mahomes, DK Metcalf, C. Rid, Najee Harris, then Justin Jefferson. And then
Now, I know I asked this last time, the podcast that didn't record, but like very quickly, is Najee really going that high?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, because when you do a projection for Najee, it's going to be difficult to not project him for 300 plus touches. Even in that Hall of Fame game, he played 100% of the snaps with the first team. So he's going to be on the field. His role is going to be ridiculous. The only question with him is this offense going to score points? Are they going to get yards and move the chains? So that's the question.
Okay. So now it's our turn, and we drafted. So we got our RB, right? So now, personally, I'm looking at this, and we've got Antonio Gibson, Darren Waller, Keenan Allen, and A.J. Brown. Let's see who else is on the board.
Got Joe Mixon.
George Kittle. So for me personally, I'm going to go Keenan Allen just because if I was here, that's who I would select just because I've always grabbed him. And I'm making this as realistic as possible, Aaron, for, a draft we would do. Antonio Gibson's really good. Darren Waller's really good. But wide receiver, Keenan Allen, that's who I would select. So he's projected 280 over or under.
Yeah, this is sort of what Aaron was talking about, though, real quick. This is where you get to decide what your team is going to be. Like,
right.
Are you going to go double running backs? Are you going to go that running back with the first round and then wide receiver, whatever?
That's what my strategy would be, just because last year I went running back, and I finished fucking last. So I personally would be drafting. I got my star running back at Zeke. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to get my receivers and then take my shots on RBs and flexes later. It's my pick, or is it your pick, Kyle?
I mean, we could do this together. Just
look, I messed up. Go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead. I messed up. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Who's your pick?
I mean, honestly, if this was a real draft, I would probably take Antonio Gibson just because he was on the championship team last year. So was Zeke. I had to throw that in there. But
So, okay, anyways, so who would you select?
I mean, I like Keenan Allen. There's nothing wrong with Keenan Allen. There's nothing wrong with Darren Waller, except he's not been practicing. I just don't see, like, when I'm selecting in the second round and I'm looking at wide receiver, I don't see a wide receiver that can finish as like the wide receiver 1 in this tier. So if it was me, I would go with Antonio Gibson.
Maybe.
Okay, so hang on. I know Aaron's here. So Kyle, you selected Antonio Gibson. He's projected 250 points.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, over, under, and why?
I mean, I would definitely make the over case for Antonio Gibson. And the reason why is this is the same coaching staff in Ron Rivera and I want to say maybe Scott Turner. I want to maybe Nordstrom.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I might have named the OC. Yeah, I might have named the OC incorrectly, but still, it's that same staff that made CMC a thing, right? So I was high on Antonio Gibson a year ago. He was a guy I really liked, and the reason why is because early in the offseason program, Ron Rivera made a Christian McCaffrey comparison to him. So to me, they clearly view him that way, and I love everything I've heard this offseason. Essentially, if you look at his college production, he had way more receptions than he did carries. So he was almost more of a receiver. But then if you look at what he did his rookie year, complete opposite. They used him as almost the first, second down grinder.
He went to Memphis College. And real quick, he went to ELHS, which is insane. And he went to Eagles Landing High School in Henry
I forgot
County.
about that, yeah.
I didn't.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
He went to Eagles Landing High School, which is a high school that I graduated from, that Kevin and Thomas and Charlie have roots with. Is that not insane? I'm looking at his high school basketball picture right here.
Yeah, that is pretty insane. And look, things look good for him, man, because, like I said, they used him basically as a first, second down grinder last year. And they've already explained that the reason they did that is because he had been used so much as a receiver in college. And they wanted to prep him for handling the full workload. Now, the only thing with him is he does have a turf toe situation coming into the year, but I'm really not concerned. I would make the ceiling case, because if he does break into that 25 touches per week kind of workload, you could absolutely be talking about a top 5 player at his position, depending on how well this offense performs this year. Now, the only thing I will say, though, is real quick, A.J. Brown is the guy who's sneaking there who could finish as a wide receiver 1, even with Julio there, because he's never been on the field with someone like a Julio Jones who's going to take that kind of coverage. And we've already known that A.J. Brown can be highly explosive. Now, the thing that I like is part of the reason why I was a little out on Derrick Henry, at least relative to some of the other players. If that defense isn't as good, and if the offense isn't quite as efficient, that could be a recipe for more passing volume, right? You're having more plays, more possessions. You're having to throw the ball more because you're in more negative game scripts. Now, I know that's a whole narrative case that you have to make for his ceiling to happen, but if it does, you could have a situation where you have a highly explosive receiver who's also getting elite targets, not even dominating target share, but he can just potentially walk into 150 targets just because that's what the offense requires. Now, again, there's other receivers that I would make a case for, but out of this group, I would say A.J. Brown has that kind of ceiling.
So that's in his range of possibilities.
Okay,
yeah,
Kyle,
definitely.
Draft who you want. Let's go.
Well, I mean, I could draft who I want, but this is going to shape our team. Because if I go,
that's what I'm saying.
If I go Gibson here, obviously we're not selecting another running back for a long time.
Right. So make your pick, bitch, and let's ride.
All right,
Aaron gave you the info.
Yeah, it was good info, but now it's sort of making me question the Gibson pick.
I get that, but make your pick.
All right, let's go A.J. Brown, and let's do it with the.
You got it.
Yeah, he got me. So,
Yo, that's crazy.
Hold on. Before you click.
All right.
So it's not necessarily that one of these is right or wrong. It's you should get your guy, but what you said earlier is what's important, right? If we go AJ Brown, I still think that we're attacking receiver, but we're keeping in the back of our mind, okay, we have an RB2 situation we're going to need to address. But if you do get a running back here, then 100%. We're not taking another running back.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe around
Well,
8,
say
9.
backs back to back, and he finished last.
All right, maybe this is something y'all don't use, but I've been
But I
using in
think
the
you ended
draft.
up taking like another running back in the 5th round too, though.
Yeah. So this is something that I don't know if y'all think about where y'all are drafting, but that's a good point, Aaron. Like if we select Antonio Gibson here, we sort of limit our flexibility. Whereas if we select a Keenan Allen or AJ Brown, then we have more flexibility with our next pick. We're not locked into one position.
Yeah, that's also true.
Selection, mind you, we're on a time limit. I hate to be that guy, but I'm just saying. I don't. AJ Brown? I would have went Keenan Allen. Fucking dumbass.
All right, so
just joking. I had to say that.
After AJ went, we got Darren Waller from Georgia Tech, Joe Mixon, Keenan Allen, Gibson went the first pick in the 3rd round, then Robinson, and then CEH.
Okay, so now we've got what? We've got a running back, a receiver, right?
Yeah. So we're pretty flexible.
So I'm looking at this. I don't know, but George Kittle? I mean, tight end, 3rd round. I know you got Terry McLaurin. I know, Aaron, I think that from last time we didn't record, you said you were high on him. CeeDee Lamb, great pick there too. DeAndre Swift. I don't know if DeAndre Swift getting him in the 3rd round is a little too high. But I'm either going Terry McLaurin or I'm going George Kittle because we're going receiver route. I'm going to get McLaurin.
All right, so you want to give your case, Aaron, on the 254 projected points?
Well, hang on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the way we're going, I'm going to end up doing the ceiling case for all these guys. I love Terry, F1, McLaurin. Again, you look at the production he had a year ago and then ask yourself who his quarterbacks were. And then look back at his production. It's amazing in that context for a year 2 player. Now he's going into year 3. He's the unquestioned alpha receiver in this offense. And if you actually now put in the equation what I believe is going to be better quarterback play with Ryan Fitzpatrick, absolutely, we could see this guy take another step the way he did last year. So Terry McLaurin, I love him. I'm not going to say anything against him. But CeeDee Lamb on the board in the 3rd round is something, me personally, I couldn't pass up.
Dude, I love CeeDee.
Just because I think that ceiling case is higher. And the reason why I say that is Amari Cooper is already coming into the year with a foot injury, if I'm not mistaken. And CeeDee Lamb has been the alpha receiver in camp. He's been getting moved all around the formation. And this is a player who a year ago had that kind of rookie season, but he still didn't even have an 80% snap share. So when you're playing about 60, 65% of the snaps, and you are still getting that many targets per route run, you're still getting that much production on your opportunity. What happens now if you have a 90% snap share? Now, again,
I know, but can we trust the Cowboys? This is the question.
Again, the thing that I was going to say is,
I mean, it's like I'm Stephen A. Smith. I'm not trying to like cut you off. I'm just saying, it's every year they're fucking mediocre, and so I don't know if I can take CeeDee Lamb.
And that's the thing that's kind of awkward when people say that, because it's based on real football. This offense in 2018 was awesome. I mean, it was absolutely a fantasy goldmine. And in 2019, this offense was really good. Now, in 2020, you have catastrophe happen. You have all kinds of massive injury. To me, it's a no-brainer to be in again on this offense, because it's probably less likely that all of that stuff goes bad again than now. The likelihood is maybe this defense isn't good. Maybe this offense still turns the ball over a ton and they still lose a lot of games. That's all awesome for fantasy because that's more possessions, that's more games where you're trailing. You have to throw the ball more aggressively. That's probably a ton of shootouts, high scores. So that's why I say to me the ceiling for CD is higher, but I would not say anything against taking Terry McLaurin.
So I am going to select Terry McLaurin just because I fucking hate the Cowboys and I just don't know. I don't know. Aaron, you're probably right, but at this point I'm keeping it as realistic as possible. Seriously.
Hey, get your guys
with these drafts. So
all right, so run down the next couple picks that happened after.
Yeah, so George Kittle got drafted next. CeeDee Lamb right after George Kittle. So boom, boom, boom. Josh Allen, okay. Third round quarterback. Mike Evans, Swift, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, Julio Jones, Lamar Jackson, okay. Robert Woods, Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, Sanders from Philly, Chris Carson, Tyler Lockett, DJ Moore. So now, Kyle, it is your turn.
Just missed out on Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I know. Literally 2 picks.
That'd have been nice, right?
Yeah, as a wide receiver 3, I mean, I'd love getting Tyler Lockett as wide receiver 3.
So go back to our roster.
Yeah, so we got Zeke at RB1, wide receiver 1A and 1B, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin.
So the question is, Aaron, we're on time crunch. So quickly, based off what we have right now and who's on the board, because this is interesting. This is very interesting. You've got Kyler Murray, you've got Hawkinson, and then you got Josh Jacobs. So you could get potentially Josh Jacobs as your running back and then be done and just, go straight up receiver, take your bets. Or am I going to draft, or Kyle, a quarterback, get that locked in, and then take my chances on getting an RB2 in the 5th or 6th round and then go receivers afterwards?
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't really go either of those routes. I would really I would really be considering, wide receiver or tight end exclusively. And in terms of the receiver, I would be looking at maybe a Cooper Kupp, but the question is, how bullish are you on the Rams passing offense? If I was going to take a running back, I would take Darrell Henderson. Kenyon in Vegas just worries me a bit because it means that we're still not going to get some abundance of pass volume for Josh Jacobs. Now, he can still get there on yards and touchdowns, but there's a chance that you can get that out of Damian Harris or someone you pick up off waivers. Look at James Robinson compared to Josh Jacobs a year ago. Very comparable production. In fact, James Robinson might have even been better.
To Las Vegas. Okay, I'm going to I'll retract everything I said. I apologize.
Yeah, so
if you're really bullish on TJ Hawkinson, I think that could be a way to go. Other than that, you said in the 4th round?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine because at this point in the draft, you're going to have TJ Hawkinson, Mark Andrews, I think is still available, and in my opinion, Logan Thomas. Oh, is Kyle Pitts still available?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So in that case, yeah, I'm definitely not going to take a tight end now just because there's a number of guys still on the board that I think are great. So I would personally be looking at Cooper Kupp just because of that upside case. What if this team goes back to a lot of 11 personnel? What if he's back getting that red zone opportunity? He always gets a lot of targets, but last year was the first year in his career he didn't get red zone targets. What if that corrects itself? But yeah, I mean, definitely up to you guys. I could see a shot on Deontay Johnson, maybe. But if you guys want to go Kyler, look, he could finish as the QB1 this year.
Yeah,
there's an absolute
he does have that upside for sure.
It's Kyle's pick. So what you got, Kyle? Come on.
I mean, I'm looking at the remaining players left, and if we don't select a wide receiver here, Kupp will be gone by our next pick. Johnson, probably Thielen. So then we're left with T. Higgins at wide receiver, who I think is like a couple tiers or a tier below them guys. I love Kupp and Johnson. I like Johnson. He gets the targets, but he doesn't have like the big playability, I guess. And Kupp, I mean, the upside here is just insane.
Hey, man, Stafford likes to pick his dude. I'm telling you, he's never had. Anyways, I'll shut up. I'm just saying, the guy. Look, Stafford is a top 10 quarterback every year. If he's not in Detroit, plug him into a dozen other offensive programs. He's potentially a Hall of Famer. Potentially. He had Calvin Johnson for, like 3 seasons, and Calvin now is pissed off at the organization. Detroit's still mad at him. Still mad at them. I don't know. You're right, Aaron. I think Cooper Kupp has a great upside. I think Stafford fucking finally whips his dick out on the table and says, listen, I'm an elite quarterback, and I'm in an offense now that can help me prove that. So,
yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray's tempting here, but at the end of the day, I think we're going to go Cooper.
Okay, drafting. Let's go.
Yeah, so after Kupp, Thielen went, Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Hawkinson, Jamar Chase, and then Brandon Ayuk. So Kyler survived.
So go back to the roster.
Wow. That's pretty awesome that Kyler fell. This is now 5th round.
I don't care. I'm going Kyler Murray. I'm going Kyler Murray right now.
Final answer.
Only because that's me.
I would just take a peek at the tight ends. What happened at tight end? Are we still okay?
Yeah, so the only tight end that went
Kyle
was
Pitts
Hawkinson.
is still there, and Logan Thomas is still there. So, and I like Tyler Higbee. I just like him. I don't know why. I just have this feeling he's just going to be that like tight end 11, 10 that has a solid year, nothing fancy, nothing disastrous. I would go Kyler Murray only because 5th round quarterback, boom, lock it in. We've got something solid as PPR. He went through his sophomore slump season and still produced. Unfortunately, he's a part of my team, I think.
No, Thomas had him.
Right?
Thomas had him.
Thomas had him.
You drafted Carson Wentz.
That's right. That fucking nuclear bomb. Okay, so I'm going Kyler.
Aaron, play devil's advocate here and talk to him about Darrell Henderson or maybe Myles Gaskin, whichever running back you like. And if we don't take running back here, we're probably out of that tier of running back now.
Yeah. I mean, because essentially the down case for Kyler Murray is they've already talked about him running less this year. Now, I don't necessarily believe it, but what if they mean what they say? If he's not running as much, this is a very different conversation for a fantasy quarterback. And now instead of a guy who might be QB1, you could be talking about someone who's scoring comparable to the Justin Herbert, Tom Brady's. That's a very big difference. So that's the thing to consider. Now with Darrell Henderson, they're saying that they're not going to play him in preseason. That sounds like they're going to just use him and hope the wheels don't fall off. He's never gone back to college. He's never been asked on that 250 touch in a year workload. So there's definitely questions, but there's not really another back here that you're going to say, okay, like they're probably going to be the RB1. I still think there's a number of backs that could be definitely good enough for RB2 production. Etienne, Mike Davis, Kareem Hunt, all of those guys, even in the worst case scenario, you're going to be able to get points from every week.
Yep.
All right. Let's draft Kyler. Hit the button. Let's let it ride.
Yeah, dude, that was the pick.
Yeah. All right. So I'll tell who's got picked, Kyle, and then you go.
All right.
So Josh Jacobs, Kyle Pitts, he's gone. Fuck. Myles Gaskin, Dak Prescott, Thomas.
What?
Okay. That's interesting. Odell Beckham, I don't give a fuck. That's interesting. Kenny Golladay, Mark Andrews, Claypool, Rodgers, Goddard, JSS, Kareem Hunt, Jerry Jeudy. Who the fuck is that? Robbie
Robbie
Anderson?
Anderson.
Robbie Anderson. Okay, and then Daryl Henderson.
God, if he would have lasted one more pick.
Look at Travis Etienne's picture. Can we just break this down for 5 seconds? Can you click on this shit? Look at this motherfucker. This dude looks like if like Lil Yachty and Chief Keef had a baby and he lifted weights. This is what he would look like. This is like a lean sipping dumbass. Look at this guy. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, so obviously we took quarterback. We took a very good quarterback. I think we got good value on Kyler there, but we saw a tight end run happen. So now, I don't know, Fant and Thomas are still there. They're still very good. But I don't know. Looking at our roster, we got Kyler Murray at QB, Zeke is RB1, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say here is, this is, if we don't take a tight end here, we're basically punting the position and, we're going to kind of take some shots late. I think Logan Thomas is the last of a tier. Logan Thomas was toward the top of the tight end group in routes run, in targets per route run, in opportunity, right? Now, it wasn't efficient, so he didn't have that top level production. But again, we're making a bet already with Terry McLaurin that this Washington passing offense is going to be better. I would go ahead and double up that bet by pairing it with Logan Thomas.
Yeah, I like the stack.
I like that. But it's your pick, Kyle. Don't fuck it up.
Now, the only thing I will say is, on running back is Mike Davis. I do think, if you were to go running back here, he makes a lot of sense.
That would be who I would select. I'm just saying that, last place person. I would select Mike Davis and punt the tight end. Because at this point, is Mike Davis going to produce more? Hang on, let's do this real quick. Click on Mike Davis.
All right.
What's his projection for 2021?
213.
It's too low.
So it's okay. So 213, right? Hang on, Aaron.
It's at number 22. Yeah,
Okay, so Mike Davis is 213. Click on Logan Thomas and just do me a favor here, him or me, or whoever Okay.
Mm-hmm.
His projection is 156. So, are you saying that Mike Davis at 2-0 whatever is going to have enough points over? Is his over points going to be higher than what Logan Thomas's over points are going to be?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Davis is absolutely going to score more points than Logan Thomas. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He should score.
But I know, but what I'm saying is, if I select Mike Davis right here and I punt my tight end, is he going to have enough over points for it to make sense right here?
I see what
That's
you're
my
saying.
question.
Make up
I'm sorry.
for it.
Right.
Well, for me personally, this is where I would be more comfortable going with a tight end, and it's actually for that reason, right? There's more position scarcity at the tight end group. If you look back to last year, essentially, if you didn't have maybe at least one of those top 7, top 8 tight ends, then you kind of didn't have anything. You were streaming. So,
like myself,
and even having someone at like 8, for example, like you're talking like Robert Tonyan, right, is like tight end 8. And it's like, okay, you get some weeks, but it's not helping you every single week win games. So, in my opinion, if you can get someone like a Logan Thomas, who, if I'm not mistaken, finished tight end 7 last year, will it show it on there? What he finished
I don't
as?
know if it'll show. Yeah, 3rd.
Oh, wow. He finished as tight end 3?
Wow. I don't remember
in
that.
yards.
Oh, okay.
Well, wait, go to rankings. Yeah.
Oh, I see. That says, oh, no, that's ranked. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I don't know what he finished last year. I'll look it up and then.
Yeah, sorry to sidetrack us, but just I know he was at least like tight end 7. He was in that range. So when you think about that, to me, again, that was a low point. If they're better, and I'm already making a bet that the offense is going to be better because I'm betting on Terry McLaurin, I like that because here's the thing with a Mike Davis, again, who's going to be the Mike Davis from last year? Who's going to be the James Robinson from last year? So there could be some of those guys at tight end, but I feel more confident in my ability to for example, maybe draft one of those guys. What if Damian Harris gets a 3-down role this year? What if Chase Edmond goes down and we see James Conner in a different role? What if vice versa happens? What if Javonte Williams, he may already be gone, but what if he actually ends up taking Melvin Gordon over by the end of the season? I still feel like there's running backs who are we able to pull up just the running backs still left?
Yeah.
FP.
Yeah, I mean, between Javonte, Raheem Mostert, Damian Harris, Michael Carter is getting first-team work thus far in training camp.
Yeah.
Trey Sermon is expected to be kind of like the first and second down back with Raheem Mostert as a change of pace. Zach Moss is allegedly looking good in camp. That running game can only get better compared to what it was last season. A.J. Dillon, should A.J. Jones or Aaron Jones go down, A.J. Dillon, there's really nothing behind him on that depth chart. We could see him with a 3-down role. Latavius Murray could be sneakily usable this year if they do end up going very run-heavy with Taysom, similar to like a Baltimore Ravens offense. So, yeah, I don't know. I still feel like for me there's still – and the thing with the running back is you can just take shots with a ton of those guys. Like I don't have to bet on any one of them. I can just try to draft 3 or 4 of those guys. And now all I'm hoping for is that one of them hits. Whereas with Logan Thomas, the only way I see Logan Thomas like busting or failing is if he gets hurt. Mike Davis, we still don't know. We assume that he's going to be the guy, but we still don't even know what that means in this offense. Does that touches a week? Does it mean 12? We don't know. So there's still some uncertainty there, whereas with Logan Thomas, I think that's sort of like the last tight end that you can take where there's no question marks, whatsoever. It's kind of what I like to say, arrow pointing up.
Yeah.
So we got like 25 minutes. Just I hate to be the Nazi police, but
yeah, we can start to do rapid fire.
Yeah, so
no, I don't want to do rapid fire. I just want to make sure that this fucking uploads.
Dude.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, that's because this is good shit. I feel like we're doing good. Okay, so who you got, Kyle?
All right, so I'm gonna play like a little bit of a gambler here. I'm gonna go Mike Davis, lock up our RB2. We might find a running back later that has better upside, but hopefully
this is your fucking Atlanta bias bullshit.
Hopefully one of the tight ends makes it back to us. We will see. Oh gosh,
this is great.
Cortland Sutton, Justin Herbert, Tyler Boyd, Russell Wilson, Devontae Smith, and then Chase Edmonds. So
okay, so
Logan Thomas is still out.
Yeah.
Who? Logan Thomas is.
Oh yeah.
Done. Drafted.
That's perfect.
Pick it. It's there. It's there. 7th pick.
Locking in Logan Thomas.
Aaron, what do you think?
Oh, I would absolutely.
Okay, let's ride. That's like a done deal. Okay. All right, so we got Tom Brady. Fuck that guy.
Dude, whoever's taking a defense in the 8th round, go kill yourself right now.
Anyway, so we got hang on. So we got Logan Thomas, 7th round. Shout out. Tom Brady. By the way, these names. Gronky Kong.
Yeah, dude, we'll do like last time. You'll just run down the name.
Yeah. Matt Stafford, DJ Chark, Brandon Cooks, Travis Etienne, 7th round. Is that normal? Real quick sidebar, yes or no? Aaron.
Yeah, that's fair for Etienne.
Okay. Mozart. I know I said Mozart instead of Mostert. Anyway, Deebo Samuel, Michael Pittman, LA defense, AJ Brown. Who's M. Carter?
Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown.
Michael Carter.
Who's M. Carter? Who?
Michael Carter, running back from North Carolina.
Okay. Whatever. Oh yeah, the rookie. Javon Landry,
Probably
Robinson,
by the end of the year.
Williams, another rookie. Trey Sermon, another rookie. Right?
Yeah, you're good.
And then Melvin Gordon.
Lots of good backs just came off.
Yeah.
So looking at our roster, it's my pick, right?
Yeah, it's your pick.
No, it's your pick, Kyle. No, I picked Logan Thomas.
Oh, yeah. So looking at our roster, we got Kyler, quarterback, Zeke, Mike Davis at running back, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, wide receiver, Logan Thomas at tight end, and Cooper Kupp at flex.
Man,
God, that's looking nice. Hey, give me that team right now.
Yeah. Shut up. Okay, so right now, I think this is like the infamous Aaron blessed us with knowledge. Time to just fucking all ceiling receivers, maybe RB if it makes sense. Let's ride.
Yeah, to an extent. So remember, if you think about the draft capital we spent, we went receiver, what, second, third, fourth round?
Yeah, so we got A.J. Brown in the second, then we backed it up with Terry McLaurin, right?
Yes.
And then Cooper Kupp right after that, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So because we've invested that kind of draft capital, now I'm looking at my running back, and this is a spot where I would take someone like a Damian Harris, just because it's a little bit of, too added. So now instead of saying, okay, Mike Davis is going to be my RB2, and I got all, okay, now I'm hoping he hits. Now I can say, okay, either Mike Davis or Damian Harris is going to hit. That's just an easier bet, right? One of these two guys is going to be good enough to give me, 12 to 16 per week, an occasional 20-pointer. Because now, based on your team, your roster construction, that's really all you need. Whereas an additional wide receiver here, well, if you were right about your first three picks, even if you have a really good fourth wide receiver, he's not going to be able to make your team based on this kind of roster
That's
construction.
A good point.
You
That's
can
a
only
good point.
pick three.
Dude,
So I would go ahead and take a shot with Damian here, personally.
Yeah, what you were talking about happened to me last year. Drafted Deontay Johnson, and he sat on my bench the whole year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Kyle.
Anyways, whose pick is it? Mine or yours, Malcolm? Hello?
I don't remember.
Okay, well.
I think it's on Kyle. I think it's on you, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. It's on you, bitch.
I mean, looking at these running backs, if we don't take a running back here, I'm not really... I don't know. I feel like Damian Harris is a good pick. Let's go D. Harris.
Well, then draft.
He's drafted.
All right. So, Chenault, Will Fuller, Jurassic Shark. Fuck, that's a great name. D. Johnson from Houston. David Johnson? Ronald Jones, Curtis Samuel, Leonard Fournette. Okay, so go back to the roster, Kyle.
All right.
So RB1, RB2 are locked up. We've got our three receivers. Now I'm looking at this. Go to receiver, Kyle. Is it bad that my gut is saying Corey Davis? Although I fucking hate Zach.
Yes.
I don't think it's bad at all. I mean, because at this point, again, we're like we talked about, we're just drafting pure upside now for any player we take.
Real quick, is Miko Harmon? Do you think he'll be there next round? Based off the fourth, we're drafting fourth, so we got a while. Do you think Miko Harmon's there?
I mean, it's hard to say. I definitely think there's a chance he is, but I'm not necessarily afraid of missing out on Miko in drafts. But I mean, if you like him, then again, this is where you just start getting your guys. Like me personally, it would be Mike Williams, just because the ceiling case, we've seen him have a double-digit touchdown year. We've seen him have a 1,000-yard receiving year. Never seen it happen in the same year. If that does happen.
That's a smart pick. It is. And I want to go Corey Davis only because it's a little sexy.
Look, Corey Davis, that's. Yeah,
but I don't. Based off the Zach Wilson's performance in practice in the simulated game that I'm sure you guys have heard about, this fucking kid, this guy is like, I don't even understand why he's even existing as a person in the NFL. Anyways, let's go Mike Williams as my select pick.
Dude, if you didn't pick Mike
Williams
here.
I'm going to go only over Corey Davis because of what Aaron said, and I'm a dumbass.
I mean, it's simple, right? Just the offense. Like, which offense do you really think is going to score more points?
Obviously the Chargers. I mean, I just can't do Zach Wilson. So Hang on, Kyle. Let me read the picks.
All right.
Because this is long. So you got Naheem Hines, Gallup, Zach Moss, got Waddle, Henry Huggs, Mooney.
Dude, I love that nickname for Henry Ruggs. Henry Huggs.
Bitch. Mooney, Tony, Kenyon Drake, and then we got Brown at Marquise Brown, James Conner, Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki. Gesicki? Yeah. Gesicki. And then is that Edo Smith?
Irv Smith.
Irv Smith, yeah.
Sorry. Miko Harmon, Williams, and Singletary.
Yeah, so Miko Hardman didn't make it back around to us. You asked that question earlier.
Well, almost though. Almost.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like our team is turning out pretty solid here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at Corey Davis made it.
Yeah.
God, I'm looking at this and AJ Dillon's just staring me at my face with that goofy looking laugh. He's like saying, "Pick me."
To me, I would have instant clicked him. I think this is exactly the kind of back you want here. He's someone who's already going to be involved. Like, just look at what this offense was a year ago. They have two running backs involved. It was the frustrating thing about Aaron Jones all year. So now he's already going to be usable. What happens if an injury occurs? You might have a top 6, top 7 fantasy running back. So, yeah, A.J. Dillon, year 2 player.
Two things.
Yeah, I would love it.
Kyle.
Yeah.
What college did A.J. Dillon go to?
Boston College, easy.
Nice. Also, A.J. Dillon's face looks like that every time he eats chicken, it's the best chicken he's ever eaten his entire life.
Dude, that's the look of the face of saying, "Draft me right now."
Oh, that's the look of this is the best chicken I ever ate. Anyway.
Yeah, so Devontae Parker, Evan Ingram, Corey Davis, Tony Pollard, the handcuff to Zeke, Gus Edwards, and then Jalen Hurts went.
Okay, click on the roster, Kyle.
All right.
This is tough for me because I have a unnecessary love for Latavius Murray. I don't know why, but I've always drafted him, and I'm just being very realistic and being like, damn, I gotta have this guy on my team. But it's not the smart pick. And so
Well, because this is basically our last pick, right? Like outside of defense and kicker.
Yeah.
we have 15 picks, I thought.
I think we.
I mean, based on that roster, it looks like this is the last one. Unless it's,
okay.
You know?
So if that's the last one. Hail Mary. Go to receiver, Kyle.
All right.
Go to my boy Pringle.
Dude, I ain't bringing up Pringle, bro.
I'm joking.
Where is he?
That's funny. He's probably not even on there. Anyway. No. Scroll up.
Oh, heck no.
Is he on there?
Dude, he's got to be on here somewhere.
Oh yeah. I just saw him. And then you scroll past.
Control F it.
Yeah, there he is.
Take him, Pringle, damn it. I would take him just because. But
dude, how unfortunate. We drafted
honest,
Bateman in the last episode, and then he comes down with the camp string.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, legit though, Marvin Jones Jr., do you like him in the Jacksonville?
There is an absolute chance that Marvin Jones Jr. ends up leading this team in targets by the end of the year.
But if him and Trevor kind of get that weird connect, I don't know.
That could happen, but really it's just based on what we've already seen. So again, you got to think about this organization, right? This staff, essentially clean house, brand new staff in place. One of the first people they go out and sign, I want to say they have Darrell Bevel as their offense coordinator, who had been in Detroit. One of the first things they go out and do is they sign Marvin Jones Jr. Like, he was a somewhat of a priority for them. And when you already have a DJ Shark there, you already have a Laviska Shenault there, that says a lot that it was a priority for them to bring in Marvin Jones.
Yes.
Based on reports we're getting in camp.
Sorry, that's his name.
Oh, I was just going to say, based on reports we're getting in camp, he's getting that first team work. Like he's essentially locked in to being one of those top 2 receivers on the field. DJ Shark just got a plate put into his finger. There had already been some comments from Urban Meyer talking about, DJ Shark didn't play big enough last year. So, yeah, I mean, I think Marvin Jones is probably going to be way more usable in fantasy this year than people expect. Me personally, though, I would be looking at one of those rookie receivers and just kind of take your pick of whichever rookie you think has the highest ceiling. Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, who's down there? Rondale Moore. Yeah. Don't sleep on Rondale Moore. He's essentially going to be walking into the Larry Fitzgerald role. That's a role that got targets in this offense, and now you're talking about a player who's younger, way more explosive. I think I talked about Terrace Marshall the last time on the show,
yes,
and it sounds like he is going to start in the slot. This dude is like 6'4", was already a red zone threat in college.
What team?
He plays on Carolina. This year,
okay,
which struggled mightily in the red zone a year ago. So what if that guy came in and was almost like a extended tight end and ended up leading this team in receiving touchdowns?
That's my pick. That makes so much fucking sense. Not Marvin Jones.
No, Terrace Marshall?
Yeah.
All right,
let's draft him. Okay, my boy Butker from Atlanta. Shout out. So let's just throw these picks away.
Yeah, so I mean,
they don't matter.
In a normal draft, probably wouldn't draft defense and kicker, but
take the Chiefs as a principle.
Take the Chiefs. All right. I'll just take whoever the top guy is.
Okay. So, as much as Aaron, you want to go dive through this, and I can see your face. You're just like, man, I want to break this down. This is going to be part 2, so everyone's going to have to wait till next week.
Yeah, to end part 1.
Hang on, real quick. Go to our roster.
It's right here.
Kyler Murray, Ezekiel Elliott, Mike Davis, A.J. Brown, McLaurin, Logan Thomas, Cooper Kupp, Chiefs D, Damian Harris, Mike Williams. I don't know, man. That shit looks...
God, it looks sexy.
God, it looks good. Is that like a... Is it just because we drafted it, or is that like a... Oh, no, that's actually a decent team.
I think that's pretty good. Just super quick. I mean, you can just look around. I like how they have it arranged. I think we're winning at receiver versus a lot of teams. That team right to the right of us, they're probably competing with us at receiver. But I think we're definitely smashing them at QB. I think we're definitely winning at running back overall because I think Zeke could be that good. Yeah, you look at some of these teams, Allen Robinson, Deontay, Jamar Chase. What if this Cincinnati offense, there's already been things not sounding good coming out of that, which was a real bummer. I was really excited about this team. But even when I did their projections, it was hard to project like a really big jump for them into being one of those elite offenses because they actually have been so inefficient in 2 years under Zach Taylor. So, I just think if you glance at a lot of these teams, I like our team more than a lot of these ones I'm looking at.
Nice. Which we will dive in heavily next week for part 2. So to end part 1, I'm going to read these names that are really fucking fantastic.
The auto-generated team names.
Yes. So, Will You Marry Me? Jurassic Shark. Sutton for Punishment. Haskin Dobbins. Gronky Kong. Brown Eyed Girlies. Worth Every Penny. Cutie Pies. Acres Gonna Fake. Stafford F-150. And CRY Tannehill.
Crying Tannehill, like Ryan Tannehill.
Crying Tannehill. Well, they're capitalized. So my favorite is Sutton for Punishment. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them are stupid, but yeah. I like Will You Marry
Yeah.
Me because that should be our team name.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Aaron, thank
dude,
you.
appreciate it.
Guys, this was great. I feel like this was so much more. I feel like the first one was meant to be not recorded because this one was like boom, boom, boom. We got shit done.
Dude,
So anyways,
after
guys,
all the good insight Aaron gave in this video, I might not record this one either. No, I'm just kidding.
you have to because I want all of us to draft smart because that'd be so much more fun. Anyways, part 2 coming next week. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Oh!